Welcome to the series that I'm titling This Old Thing. It's really going to be centered on toys that I used to have when I was younger that have been lost in some of the many moves that we did throughout my childhood. And this is one that I was really sad to lose and happy that I found actually a brand new one of. The first thing that we're going to be covering in this series is this Neopets handheld game. Very excited to have found this. I got it on eBay, surprisingly for around $30. Hopefully it still functions. It's never been opened, so we will see. Let's open it up. Here is the play set. Very cool that you can see it like this. So these are pocket Neopet games. I know there are some smaller ones. This is a deluxe set. It comes with 3 figures, which are Poogle, Shoiryu, and Uni. So this is from Tiger Electronics. It's age 6 and up. Neopets from Neopets.com. I never actually got to go to Neopets.com. I could never really figure out the site. This is the Fairyland edition. There is a more boy-like edition by 2000 standards. So that is more of like volcanoes and dinosaur type. Pocket Neopet, deluxe portable Neopets player. This 3D replica of Neopia's Fairyland has an electronic LCD screen full of character animations and games. So crazy to hold this in my hands. Here is my Fairyland case. So many memories. There's a little catch where you store them. They've got their own little spots. So on the upper portion, you've got a little purple castle and what looks like a mountain. And down below, some sort of cloud circus. I believe this is all meant to be sky. I always used to think it was water, which was kind of silly of me, unless we're looking down at the ocean through the clouds. There is a 1, 2, 3 section, which I can only imagine means the math. And we've got a little tent in the center. The Wheel of Excitement over there, I believe, with a rainbow bridge between the two. Little bridge there because on the lower half there are stairs, but we're not there yet. And here is a table set over there next to some sort of coliseum. Down on the lower section, we have some dark, eerie portal, more tents, and I guess less threatening portals. And here's what it looks like when it's all closed up. I carried this everywhere with me for years and years until we moved and it was left behind, and I felt so devastated about that. I'm a little anxious to see the status of the batteries. Open, close, battery door. So, okay, these 20-year-old batteries look a little wrecked. There's a little bit of rust up on that one. See that corrosion? It's just this coil that seems to be troublesome. So let's see what we can do about that. I don't really think there's going to be much to do. Oh, I didn't even notice there is some rust on the other side here. And some of it did come off on the Q-tips, so that's promising. Of course, this is going to let to sit and thoroughly dry before I actually try the batteries. Now, of course, when I do clean this up and use it, I'm not going to leave the batteries in so that this could happen again. I'm going to take them out when I'm not playing with it. We'll go back to that in a little bit and see how we fare. Here we have Poogle. He's a little yellow dog-like character with pointy but flopped down ears, a little nub for a tail, got a white chest, brown stripes on his head and back. We have Uni, a blue unicorn, white hair, and a yellow horn. Then we have Shoiryu, who always reminded me of Charmeleon, just with wings. I honestly don't remember what the cards are for, and I probably never used them properly. So here's first, we have one for Poogle, which is apparently a Moogie race. On the back side, we have a very intense Poogle. Calls him Moogie back here. So is Poogle the race or the name of the critter? For all these years, I thought Poogle, Uni, and Shoiryu were their names, but apparently it's just the names of their species. So here's Shoni, the Uni, and there must be some kind of final evolution form. Then we have Sir Balinor, the Shoiryu. Much more sophisticated than I thought it would be for that little guy. Oh, he's got hair. Then we have some instructions. Check that out. Before you begin, important virtual prize code. Before beginning to play with your Pocket Neopet, you will want to register an account at Neopets.com and create your own Neopet because you will need to have an online Neopet in order to collect your virtual prize code. If you do not have an online Neopet, please be aware that the VPC that you get may be invalid. Collecting your virtual prize code. After you have completed all levels of the trophy games, the Pocket Neopets screen will ask for a username. Please be ready to enter your online Neopets name from neopets.com, not your website username or your Pocket's. Watch out, if you enter something other than your online Neopets name, or if you misspell your online Neopets name when you enter it, you may get an invalid VPC. How does this work? Because it's not attached to the internet. So if you didn't have a computer at home, you were a little screwed, I guess, unless you went to your library. It's a little snug between Poogle and, I'm sorry, they have names. It's a little snug between Shoni and Moogie, but, you know, that's just how the cookie crumbles. All right, so there are action buttons here on the side. I love this star pattern. And there's a cancel and enter button with our little itty bitty screen. Whoa, and now what? Place one of the 3D figures onto the 5 ports. Let's pick my old favorite. I'm gonna keep calling him Poogle. Year 2003. You are so wrong, my friend. We are in the year of 2021, my friends. And he's running, he's frolicking along. Oh, he's just so cute. What do we do now? Oh, now it's the 2 p.m. Yes, that's hilarious. I have no food. Oh my god, what do I do about that? Don't tell me I get food from the website. That doesn't make any sense. So I guess I do have to play the games for all this to happen. Do something else? Yes. I would like to shop. Shop, feed, and sleep. Yeah, and play. Nothing. 50 Neo points to buy that. Do I have set money? Uh-huh. Oh, I start with 500. Okay. Let's try the Wheel of Excitement. Let's do it. Yeah. Uh-huh. A dark fairy cackles. Oh crap. Your Neopets feel weaker. No! Why? What the heck am I supposed to do about that? Oh, I think this works like Pong. I don't get why I want to hurt the clouds. They seem like really friendly. Ooh! 1,000. This just in, the nostalgia is not worth it. I don't even think this playset was worth it when it came out back in 2003. This is a bit of an extreme jump, but after a few weeks of trying to do this, I can say that this toy is pretty terrible. Sadly, pretty much 24 hours of trying to play with this thing, it stopped working, and I wanted to know why. Somehow, the metal part where the batteries click into somehow popped into the playset and would not work. And I tried Gorilla Gluing it. However, it didn't. Unfortunately, there was no playsets available on eBay that were less than $70, and I'd rather not spend more than 30 bucks on this thing, to be honest. Open or not. So in the meantime, I did get myself the boy version of this by 2000 standards. And it looks like this. We've got these other Neopets characters, which I don't know the names of. I don't have the manual for this. You can look at the PDF. It's definitely a lot less effort was put into this version of the set, I will say. Oh, by the way, yeah, my pet's trying to leave. Just overall, this set definitely has less effort put into it than the beautiful Fairyland Cloud set. You can just see it. This is just all green. I know it's supposed to be like a forest. It's called Meridel. There is sort of a throne room down below, a forest with a monster, and a couple tents. Some kind of weird giant dinosaur over there. Some kind of fighting ring or farm, and a giant cucumber? I don't know, but a lot of the games weren't as great. And even the side pouch where you can keep the characters has much less effort put into it. They don't even have little stands. The Meridel set comes with basically what to me looks like an evolved version of a Shoiryu. I don't know what it is. It looks like a basic red dragon. Bambi. There's this little green Bambi-like character. And this blue wolf. I mean, you can kind of tell that they picked similar looking Neopets so that the artwork didn't have to change too much. So these toys are extremely annoying. If you remember being annoyed by a Tomagotchi, this is probably 10 times worse. You have to feed it. So in the instructions, there's very small print in each section that kind of tells you this is going to be kind of a big deal. You have specific times of day that it wants to be fed, such as 7:30 in the morning, about 2:30 for lunch, and about 6:30 for dinner, and it needs to be in bed by 9 p.m. So obviously this is very much a toy for a child, and it wants to try to give you regulated times to eat and sleep so that you can as well. However, it is so hard to keep track of, especially as an adult, you know. But I think that even when I was 10, this was a challenge to keep my Neopet alive. And granted, yes, it will leave if you haven't played with it or fed it in a few hours. Sometimes I think even 2 hours. It'll just leave and walk off into the sunset. If your Neopet does leave, you do get to keep your scores for your games. But I think if you don't reset it within a certain amount of time, you lose all of your scores. For example, if you take the batteries out and don't replace them within a minute, 60 seconds, if you don't get new batteries into your game after they die, all of your progress is lost. So it's almost impossible to get these trophy codes at the end. And speaking of the codes that I read about in the beginning, they are no longer redeemable. There has been instances on the internet where people have sent in the codes and have been given replacements. I, however, due to how often my pet kept leaving me, I'm not going to try to finish to get these codes, especially if there's really no payoff for it. I was going to try to see what would happen. Even the code that came on the uni card isn't achievable anymore. I will probably end up getting a new Fairyland Neopet Pocket just for the nostalgia, but it's really not a great toy, especially since the screen that you're playing on is so small. They really could have given you more space to work on, especially since those ports are only quick play ports that'll bring you to certain parts of the menu. And the boys menu actually is very different in the sense that instead of being able to toggle through each thing on screen, the border is actually what you're toggling through. And it took me so long to notice that because I can barely see it. Even in this lighting, it's just so hard to tell. Because of the screen not being backlit, it was very hard for me to record footage of the games to show you. I was going to record each game and kind of review each game on the set, but in the end, it's not really worth it. I mean, if you want to get this set, go ahead, but you will not be able to keep it alive. It requires very intense attention and care. Much more than a Neopet, much more than a Gigapet, which were labeled as very annoying back in the day, but I think these take the cake for most annoying digital pet. And sadly, it had a sad ending for me here, but this was this old thing. Thanks for joining me.